Bench Opinions. 3 idiots with amateur analysis.
You open it.
Yeah. Good day.
How's it?
And welcome back.
Hello.
This is our third segment for this week, so you've seen us, and I very much assume you're not tired of seeing us yet. And this is the Leftovers episode.
What does it say on your hat, hey?
Parlay, I think.
Which is French for?
Parlays.
Parlays. Yeah.
For speak.
I don't know. Just a cool brand. I like it.
Okay.
What does the last shark mean?
I think it's the last shark in the ocean.
Ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, now that we've done dissecting, what does your shirt say? Where did you get that?
Wales.
Where did you get that?
I got this in Ireland.
All right. Back to Leftovers. A little bit to discuss. Not too much this week because, the Formula One race has not happened yet at the time of recording. And all quiet on the golfing front other than, let's start with that. Dominance by Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
He's 23 under par through 3 rounds in Texas. His
Broke
home
the record
state.
for the lowest scores under par after 2 rounds, hey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Or
Yeah.
was it?
I don't know.
No.
But he made 10 under on the first day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he made 10 under again or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And
And then he
he's-
just made 3 under on the last day. On the
he's
third
8
day.
under. He's 8 under. 8 shots ahead, sorry, of the Eric van Rooyen, our boy in second spot.
what are we saying about tournaments like that? Is it entertaining to watch pros tear up a golf course like that because you see how great they are? Or is it more entertaining to watch golfers struggle?
I mean, in this case, because he's 8 shots ahead of the next position, it's just he's having a barnstorming round. More so,
No, the
like
field,
if
the field is
everybody
also
was-
not as strong as like there's not
Right.
many star-studded guys
Okay.
there. But like, is it more entertaining to watch a golfer tear up a course, or is it more entertaining watching a golfer really struggle on a course because it's fucking like so tough?
I would argue seeing golfers look more human is more entertaining. And I think it's something that piques the interest of the amateur golfer a little bit more because you think, no matter what leads to them looking more human, you think that you're just a little bit closer to
Yeah.
being like them.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But I don't want to watch Scotty Scheffler scull a chip shot
Well, he's
over
not
the
gonna.
green.
He's not.
I can do that when I watch Moxie.
Well, the thing is,
Sorry.
he's not going to scull. It's not like he all of a sudden, because the course is hard, forgets how to chip. Like
Listen, bro, that's how it goes.
what I'm saying is
now I'm reading books on chipping.
what I'm saying is that I think when the courses are difficult, then they have to really work for here it's just point and shoot.
I'm not
Right.
talking about like Scald and Shanks. I'm talking about like if they hit it 10 yards off the line that they want to, they're in rough that's really difficult for them to get out of. So then they have to lay up. Then the greens are incredibly tricky. The wind's maybe blowing like it does at the Open a lot. I am a little bit on Dom's side where I'm like, I prefer to watch them struggle, and then every now and then you see them hit like these
Brilliant.
unreal shots, and then that's what shows you how good they are. Because if we'd play those same conditions,
We wouldn't be able to do it, yeah.
I'd go home after 2 hours.
Well, I mean, that's what made the Masters so incredibly insanely, especially this year.
Yeah.
Rory's 3 meltdowns and 18 holes.
The thing is, it is a big debate though. I think about where golf goes because they're going to do the rollback. It looks like the ball rollback. I'm vehemently against it. I don't agree with that at all because I think it pushes amateurs and professionals into different kind of sports.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. I think, unfortunately, obviously, it's sad because a lot of the courses are a bit shorter. The old famous courses are shorter. I would say make the courses longer. Put extra tee boxes. If a course can't accommodate extra tee boxes or be lengthened, tough luck. But there's enough courses around here that can, in the world that can. And that's how you should make the course more difficult. At the end of the day, also, I think to myself, they're all playing the same golf course. So, sure, it might not be as entertaining, but if Scotty Scheffler goes and shoots, he could shoot 30 under par and beats everyone else. Cool.
Yeah, I think there was they've on the golf podcast that I listened to, they dissected this for so long, and they had experts on talking about like how much land it requires to actually make golf courses bigger and to lengthen them, and then on the other end of the spectrum, the the people on the other side always say, "Oh, well, just grow the rough long so that it becomes more challenging." But that's also not the interesting thing. But there's ways that like professional golfers get out of jail, like you can't believe. They'll hit it into the fucking hospitality tents, and they'll get to drop like almost back in the fairway.
Oh, there was funniest thing. So last week they had the Chevron Championship, the women's first Masters, and they built the hospitality in such a way that there was a wall of the woman were intentionally, it's a par 5, intentionally hitting it long, or like trying to attack the pin as much as possible, because they knew if they went over the back, it would just bounce off that wall and either bounce back onto the green, or it would bounce, or they would get relief. So they could, and because it was on a slope, every time they dropped the ball, it rolled too far. So they inevitably they could place it.
Yeah. I just watched a video. I can't remember which year it was, but it was early 2000s with Tiger Woods, who landed behind a boulder. Like the boulder was like a meter high.
Yeah.
And he was talking to one of the adjudicators on the day and said, well, it's kind of like a pebble, right? If I can pick it up and move it and it doesn't don't touch my ball, that's fine. And he's like, yes, sure. But it's like a thing weighs like 500 kilograms. How are you going to move this thing? So he just got like 5 oaks out of the crowd to then roll this boulder out the way. That's not... Surely if you can't move it yourself, then you
well,
can't
that now needs to be in the 754th rule of golf.
Yeah, 100%.
If you can't move the pebble.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're going to say like, oh, these oaks are now doing weightlifting so that they can move larger.
I just don't think changing the professional game and making it different to the amateur man's game is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not going to affect me. I understand your point, but it's not going to affect me that much because I'm going to go out there every Saturday and hit my ball into the rough, not find it, and drop another one.
It was interesting that you were talking about the growing the rough out, because Dominic's reading a book and he keeps on telling me about the 7 principles of
growing your own rough out,
course design.
When the rough gets going. No, it's a
manscaping.
It's a book called. I'd actually, since you're into reading golf books now, I've learned. I'll borrow it to you as well. It's called The Spirit of St. Andrews, and it's by Dr. Alistair Mackenzie.
Okay.
Not your dentist, though.
His brother.
That's Bruce.
That's Bruce.
Anyway, and he speaks about the principles of... He designed Augusta and Cypress Point, and among others, and he writes essentially in articles like his diary about golf at the time in like the 20s. And he speaks about like at that stage what modern golf courses are, etc. And he says the worst kind of golf course in the world is a golf course where the main hindrance or the main penalty or penal element is long rough.
Long rough, yeah.
And so I think that's why also a lot of purists of the game are going, no, we don't want it to get to a point where we just grow the rough so long that like, you know.
But that's the problem with the essence of it, because if you're designing a golf course and you're designing it, let's say you from the tips you're going the current average distance of golfers where they hit it, and that's where you place in the landing zone. You place your bunkers.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now with driver technology, in 10 years, 15 years, they're all going to be hitting it over those bunkers, so they're not in play anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
just moving tees back is
just
not
keep
going to...
moving it further back.
Just fucking digging holes, more bunkers.
Eventually you're going to have like these 60, 70 meter bunkers. They just remove the whole middle.
What we need is a course like where your dad grew up there, where everything is just sand.
Yeah, 100%.
But then that's also not the point of it, right? You still want them to... We still want to see your professional golfers hit a driver. You don't want them all now laying up.
Yeah, yes and no. Like, I mean, I'm not as fascinated. I've never been as fascinated by professionals hitting it far.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I'm much more intrigued. I find the most intriguing things if a professional has like 220 yards, 230 yards into a par 4 because he's had to lay up with an iron. Because then you see how good he really is with long irons.
And the abilities to shape the ball.
And stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And pitching it on a 6-pin.
If you've got a tiny, tiny fairway and you're trying to knock that thing 300 meters, 300 yards or 300 meters down the middle, it's still impressive. Like,
no, sure. I just think the whole point and shoot golf is in a very American way.
Yeah.
And that's why they say a lot of people, you see a lot of guys, disproportionately how many people that come through the European tour win majors. It's quite impressive because I was speaking to Darren Fichard's wife about this when we were in Munich last year, and she was saying that America, you play so much of the same type of golf course. Like the courses don't differ in their playability, whereas when you're in Europe, you're just forced because it's so diverse. You're actually forced. And someone like Brooks Koepka, for example, always speaks about how valuable it was for him to come through the European tour as opposed to the PGA tour. Yeah. So I mean, there's so many different things to think about. The old courses, for example, just inevitably, if you're going to just try and lengthen golf courses, the old traditional historical courses are the ones that are going to lose out because you just don't have freedom of land, which would obviously also be sad.
No, we're just going to play on TGL. We're just going to play on screens from now on.
There we go.
No more golf outside.
Or the course on TGL should just be made in real life. So if you don't hit it straight, you're off a cliff.
Yeah.
Let's move on to
cricket
and
recreational drugs.
Oh God!
One of our star players, KG Rabada. He has been caught red-handed.
Yeah, one of his blood samples came back positive for recreational drugs, and we're not a podcast that speculates.
Definitely cocaine.
It's cocaine.
I'm not speculating. It was cocaine.
Yeah.
So a bit of tootski there. Apparently it happened during the SA20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
When he was playing for them. So he was probably right after the game we watched, probably just went on a bit of, went up Kloof Street.
Or before.
Because
he was at the IPL now, and he's actually been let go of his by his team, been sent home because this test result came out.
Straight to rehab.
Yeah, listen, I think he's put up his hand. I saw he made a post saying, "Cricket is so important to me, and I'll never underestimate again how important it is." And I'm sorry. And listen,
the standard.
Yeah.
Press.
Look, I mean,
PR.
We've taken a quite humorous approach to this whole thing, but I think it's very sad in the sense that let's see how he bounces back from it. Because honestly, let's be honest, let's say he has another 5 years in him, which he would have had. He's 29. 5 years, he's bang on to be one of the greatest fast bowlers of all time. Really, he is
South
with his
Africa
numbers.
or
Generally, he's the quickest ever to get to 100 wickets. I think he's the quickest ever to 200. I think he's the quickest ever to 300. Like he's got. I mean, don't quote me on this, but he's broken several records, and he is odds on to go and be one of the best in terms of figures.
Yeah,
be one of the best fast bowlers of all time, and
just has to keep his head in the game.
Yeah, and I think hopefully it's just a blip. Hopefully, when we're in London in June, he's there to bowl at the heads of some Australians.
I mean, he would have done very well in the old cricketing days.
Yeah, him and Maradona, bro. They would have
Maradona.
been best of mates.
Also, we say all of this. We don't know.
Yeah.
This are all allegations.
What other recreational drug would it be?
Could it be marijuana?
I don't think... Is marijuana on the banned list? Or performance list? I don't think so.
Oh, it's not performance. It's recreational.
It's a recreational drug.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if marijuana's on a banned list there.
In South Africa, you're not allowed to. Oh no,
it's legal.
Yeah,
it's legal in South Africa.
Okay, so it's not marijuana. Maybe it's.
But how does that work anyway? Because like in Portugal, it's decriminalized. So can you take any drug if you're a football player or athlete?
Well, as long as it's not performance,
and as long as it's not on the banned list of subs, because it's obviously they have certain drugs that aren't allowed to be.
If these guys are taking like MDMA or something like that, I mean, that's not going to be beneficial to you.
Maybe it was speed. You get what I mean?
Hilarious.
God. Well, Herschel Gibbs was fucking drunk as a skunk.
But it's alcohol. It's
the
fine,
night
bro.
before the 438 game. And wasn't he smoking weed?
In West Indies, they got caught for smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. Yeah. I just hope. I hope it's just a rude awakening a little bit for him.
Yeah. It's sort of gone a little bit. I think it's not going to be big on the international news cycle. I think it's going to come and go. Everyone dabbles a little bit.
Also, it doesn't sound like this guy is doing this on the daily.
No,
it sounds like it was during a party.
Do you know who liked a bit of Tootski? Was good old Shane
Warne.
Yeah,
really?
He did. Yeah, he loved cocaine.
There was some reports that came out this week. R.I.P. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
That when he died. He was actually on a sex holiday in Southeast Asia, and he essentially like sexed himself to death. Like his heart was like compromised, but he was doing so much cocaine and having so much sex. Yeah,
Just gave out.
he dropped dead.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
Similar to how James Small went.
Yeah, James Small also. Yeah.
Wasn't he in the actual brothel?
He wasn't.
The
He wasn't in
teasers, wasn't
South.
he?
He wasn't in Southeast Asia. He was in Southeast Johannesburg, in Benoni.
Wasn't he like a teasers or something?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something like
something like
that.
that.
Yeah, what a way to go.
Lollipop
man.
Lounge.
Useless.
Yeah.
What a place to go.
Anything else from the world of leftovers? Any cycling happening? No.
Well, we've got the one interesting.
Probably. But
The one interesting thing about the Formula One is this week, as we've explained to you, Maxi, before the podcast, there's
Yes.
both qualifying for the sprint
Yes,
race and
yes.
there's qualifying for the actual race. The sprint race qualification was won by Antonelli, Italian 18-year-old racing driver. He is now the youngest driver to ever have qualified on pole
For a sprint race.
for any format. Yes. Except pole dancing.
But he didn't qualify as pole for the actual race.
No.
No.
Max did.
This is why there needs to be an asterisk next to this thing because like qualifying as pole for the sprint race is like, you know, you come home so proud and you tell your dad, I got an A for this thing in class, and then it was just like some flippin' artwork you had to draw in the class itself. It
But
wasn't
what's
like
Paint by numbers.
But what's
Yeah.
the difference? It's the same track. You're racing against the same people.
yeah, but isn't the one much shorter?
We're talking about qualification.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still trying to set the fastest time on a lap.
I don't know.
So it's irrelevant.
Something
if the race,
doesn't sit right with me.
It doesn't make a difference if the race thereafter
Okay,
is
let me
30 laps or
let me
60 laps.
phrase it differently. I don't think we should celebrate qualifying on pole because it means nothing because you haven't gotten anything.
Well, it helps you in the race. It didn't help him in this race in particular because he came 10th.
So if he wins the race and he becomes the youngest ever to win a race, then we say this oak's got it. We should go halfway there and say let's celebrate that
Well, he was the fastest man on track.
for a small amount of time. Yes. Then when the actual race happened, he wasn't the fastest man on the track.
That he makes a good
No.
point.
Okay,
But
listen, I'm not going to
so
be the
then
boo man.
But then we must just disregard any of Lewis Hamilton's, any of Michael Schumacher's polls.
Definitely
all
Lewis
of-
Hamilton's polls. Yeah, his definitely are completely irrelevant.
Those
and
aren't
have
achie-
no
those aren't
no
achievements at all.
importance.
No one. When they talk about Michael Schumacher, says he's got like 191 poles. They say he's got 7 world titles.
They also talk about his race wins. They talk about
Yes, race wins,
they
but
talk
not
about-
poles.
They do talk about polls.
They only talk about poles when there's nothing else to talk about. It's such a dumb statistic to say I finished on pole in qualifying. Like, okay, shup, bro. Put that on your CV.
I don't understand what the problem is. It's you're racing, right? So you're trying to be the fastest person on track,
Yeah,
and he has now qualified as being the fastest person on track.
Nobody's no cricketer is going to say I took 500 wickets in the nets.
Okay, then
Because
why-
the batsman,
Good analogy.
the batsman is trying just as hard not to get bowled out.
You're talking about practice. I'm not talking about practice. We're talking about an actual race.
It's not a-
It's essentially.
It's not a race though. They're not racing against each other. They move out the way, so that it's literally just about trying to cut the fastest corner. You're not racing. There's no one behind you trying to overtake you.
Sorry, it's just a Sunday drive.
Yeah, but cutting the corner sharp there.
Okay.
I don't
I
know why
can't-
you're defending pole position so much suddenly.
Because it is an impressive thing, and it is really important for the race.
Ugh. It's important for the race. I give you that, but it's not like. I don't think it should be celebrated as much because it then looks even sillier when you say this oak got 17 poles in his career, never won a race. Is he then a good racing driver?
If he's never won a race,
If he's got 17 poles but never won a race,
if he's got 17
pole positions.
pole positions in his career,
Okay, let's make it
That's-
more. Make it 50, and he never won a race.
well, no, it's not successful because the race is obviously what counts at the end. But it's still an achievement. It's like saying I'm the fastest bowler. It doesn't mean I've got a lot of wickets, but it's still an achievement. It's still something that people go like, oh, he
Thus
holds the
you've
record
gone
for the
soft.
fastest ball.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but being the fastest bowler also means that's like saying I'm the longest drive champion.
You can have the most amount of wickets in the world, but if you've never won the actual match, then it's also irrelevant. So what are we talking about? Fastest wickets in 100 fastest? What did you say about Rabada? Fastest 100 wickets.
Then your comparison needs to be he's won a lot of races, but he never won the world title. That's the same as taking a lot of wickets, but never winning the test. That's the same as that. And there's a lot of racers that are like that who never won a world title, but who are great racing drivers.
Yeah. So then poles would also count to that.
No, they're not. Poles are not the same as race wins.
Okay, but you can get wickets and still not win the match.
Yes.
Yes. So then why are we talking about Rabada having gotten the fastest 100 wickets?
Because I'm saying race wins are equal to wickets.
No, it's not.
What are race wins equal to? Goals in soccer.
To winning
Prize in rugby.
To winning the actual ODI, to winning the test match.
So poles are equal to winning the test match.
I'm using your complaint where you're saying like, no, wickets are a race.
We've got into
a wicket is not equivalent to a race. The whole match would be equivalent to the race.
We agree to disagree.
You're saying that any achievement within a match or a race is irrelevant. The only thing that counts is the actual win of the race. That's what you said.
Yes.
Then I'm saying, why are we talking about how quickly Rabada got wickets?
I think in history,
if you say it's irrelevant,
I think in history we're gonna remember race winners and not pole positions.
Okay, but then we're also not going to remember anybody who got 100 wickets.
Yeah, we will, because it's a meaningful measurement.
Oh my god, dude! People talk about pole positions all the time.
Okay.
Just because you don't
Look,
watch Formula
he's still
1.
the youngest. He's still the youngest guy to do it.
But it's irrelevant.
You can't take that away from him.
It's irrelevant. It doesn't count for
it's
anything.
Not I don't think Maxi's saying it's irrelevant either.
I'm saying it's
He's
irrelevant.
saying it's irrelevant. That's the
I'm saying
whole
it's no. I'm
argument.
saying it's relevant for the race, but I'm saying it's embarrassing to celebrate someone's poles in respect to their victories. Okay, we're gonna have to interrupt this because
The police have come because we're arguing too much.
Anyway, what else do we have left on the menu?
Not really. I don't know. Why is the doorbell ringing on a Sunday? That's very suspicious.
I don't know. But we just left the conversation now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.